quote Tori Vega, here I am once again. Yes, Victorious Season 2. Oh my gosh, guys. After 20 episodes from Season 1, this show finally set out to have a complete narrative. And you know what? It didn't work. This is a show about performing arts kids going to a school. Fortunately, the adult writers thought it would be so funny to put as many inappropriate jokes as possible. So this show, it's off its rails by Season 2. You know, like everything that seemed like it was going to be the core and root of the show just kind of got thrown out the window. So when we enter these next 13 episodes, I really had to manage my expectations. So let's prepare ourselves for characters from Drake and Josh to come back, irresponsibly named titles of these episodes, and supremely out of character experiences. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Tori. Without further ado, let's see what made Season 2 of Victorious the most popular failure of all time. No, that's not really how I feel. I just want to see if I can get a reaction out of you guys. Yeah, let's just jump in. Episode 1 is Beggin' on Your Knees, named after the song Beggin' on Your Knees. Is that so hard, guys? Come on. We start in music class, and it's just good to see that there's more than one type of class at this school, honestly. I'm like so confused at how they go about their days. The teacher assigns them to sing a song at the full moon dance, which, by the way, I feel like later on we never see anybody else perform, but it is funny because they're insulting Robbie throughout this first scene, which is so uncool. Like, it's hard to get a guy to sing in general, let alone making fun of him the whole time. Come on, guys. Everybody, for some reason, wants Tori to be on their team for this, which is surprising because she says she's never written a song, which is not true because she's wrote songs for the show. In fact, yeah, Victoria Justice has written some songs for Victorious. Surprise, surprise. That's when we jump into the opening theme song, and it's all new now because we're on to another season, which is so exciting because the clips are definitely foreshadowing a lot of crazy things happening, like the people going to jail, the school play that Tori goes to the hospital for. I always thought theme songs like this like kind of spoiled a lot of what was gonna happen in the show, especially since a lot of what happens in the show relies on shock value or just straightforward absurdism. So seeing it in the theme song always puts it at a disservice. This is like the peak of Victorious for specifically me. Then we get this attractive guy, Ryder Daniels, asking Tori on a date, and immediately it's clear to me, not to you guys, because I'm slightly ahead of the curve because I have the ability to skip ahead in the episode. All around, it's a good hype session, at least. We got this barbershop quartet that keeps following around Tori to ask her to be their partner, which is crazy. You guys have 3 partners, you're fine. Meanwhile, Robbie asks a girl out, and she just says she'd rather stay home and do nothing, which is kind of baller of her to say, but not really nice.
Look, I would go out with you, but I'd really rather just stay home and do nothing.
We get a really funny subplot of Kat constantly getting calls on her pair phone for emergencies, and yeah, turns out they're trying to reach 911, but just go to her, and she just says she's gonna help, but doesn't do anything to actually help, which is actually super dangerous, and I can't believe this is how it's playing out.
It's so exciting, and I get to help people who need me.
Yeah, but how will the paramedics know to go help that guy?
Oh my God, you're right. I should call the paramedics.
Dan Schneider shows just love to have them do something incredibly horrible and then everybody just shrug their head as if it's just an awkward inconvenience for them. Like, I don't understand their priorities here. So this is where things get juicy. Tori actually does decide to go on a date with this guy, and Trina warns her that he's been out with girls before and just breaks up with them without any warning, which is definitely a fair thing to worry about. But Tori is just like kind of ignoring it for now. She just goes on the date with him as if everything's normal, but Trina interrupts, telling her to check his phone. Oh my gosh. This is not appropriate for somebody you're going on a first date with. Like, it's one thing to check your phone or each other's phones in relationships, like, let's say at least a month in, but they have been one date in, and Tori's already looking through his phone, and he catches her immediately. Oh my lord. So yeah, this does not look good on Tori's part, and she's feeling super guilty. This actually sets up the psychology a lot for Tori not putting her defenses down for Ryder because of the fact she made this big mistake. Like, of course she's not gonna be able to pick up on anything that's actually happening because he's got this in his court. This actually sets up Tori with the idea that they could be singing partners, which this is where it's starting to get a little sketchy. This guy is up to no good. Robbie starts dressing like a bad boy, which is crazy because the 2010s is just all about bad boys. You could ask Big Time Rush, guys.
Hey, what did you do?
I realized that a guy like Ryder gets girls because of his looks and his attitude, so I makeovered myself.
So they end up having this huge romantic time, writing a song together, and they even end up kissing. Aww. So yeah, Robbie's told that Ryder is up to no good. So all the friends essentially have an intervention for Tori without the organization. They just kind of show up at her house and say that like she should look out for herself. So this ends up coming up at the Moonlight Dance. They're about to perform and she sings Begging on Your Knees, which is about trashing him for going out with so many girls. And yeah, this is kind of an intense revenge for some character we don't really know super well. I mean, I get it. He's misconstrued a lot of women in the past, so that makes sense he should be chastised in front of everybody. But you know what? Taking it to the group project format is a really specific way to pay back somebody. Like, it'd be one thing if the Moonlight Dance wasn't riding on a grade, but we just dropped that entire storyline just to have Tori sing. Honestly, the song though is a banger. It does make up for the fact that the plot is kind of thrown out at this point. I just want to see the teacher congratulate the kids, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. They just get social karma and the episode ends there with Trina taking the entire credit sequence on the paraphone, which is so funny to me. I can't believe this episode is what throws us into the second season. If anything, it makes me more vague on what the show is actually trying to do. I guess moral of the story is like friendship matters, but even then they don't seem to have an active role in Tori's life until like the last possible moment. So whatever, I just want to see what Andre's up to, honestly. He is my favorite at this point, and I just want to see what this guy's doing. Okay, now we got Beck falls for Tori. And you gotta be kidding me with this episode title. You're telling me you're surprised that people are shipping characters when really they're putting episode titles that allude to that? It kind of reminds me of like YouTube thumbnails that get people to click. Like Beck falls for Tori doesn't even have to do with anything that happens in the episode. I mean, it is very literal usage. He's not falling for her romantically, but it is for a whole stunt, which we'll get into in a second. I just had to complain about this title. We start out with an acting scene with Kat, Beck, and Andre, and honestly, I don't know what Psychowitz could be looking out for here. Is this a presentation? Is this a project? Like, it just gets even more confusing the more I learn about this school. So Psychowitz asks everybody to open up about their hopes and dreams, and he starts with Tori, pretty much sitting in front of her. Like, it feels kind of condescending and very, like, fake based on the way he's sitting, which kind of makes sense because he trashes her once he gets her answer.
What's your biggest hope and or dream?
Probably to be a pop star, a really successful singer. What?
Well,
Yeah, so she's all excited to become a super big pop star and he just trashes her. Honestly, like, I was so surprised to even witness this, and he uses this as an acting exercise, basically saying that like you get people's attention when you dodge their expectations. And honestly, this is probably the most relevant piece of information I've ever gotten from this school. That's a really good set of advice, but unless you're writing for a TV show or something, I don't know if it's necessary. Later, he makes up for this by telling Tori he's got her an audition for a movie called Catch Me, Kiss Me, which, what the heck? Is it a rom-com or what?
Wow. I mean, I've never auditioned for like a real movie before.
and I've never done a standing backflip, but watch this.
So Psychowitz sets her up with this audition. We get Ariana Grande dressed as Little Bo Peep and everybody kind of ragging on Robbie because he's wearing girls' pants, which by the way, might not be bad. It's fashionable to wear girls' products. Oh my god, Tori says she needs a photographer and Sinjin comes in just to say you're looking for one. Sinjin doesn't even have like actual help to offer her, so I don't even know why he came.
You look 12 in this pic.
Well, that was the last time I was shot by a professional photographer.
My brother got shot by a clown.
So later, Tori shows up to her audition, and I'm really surprised that Kat interrupts it, like literally in the middle of it. And if you like grew up around Hollywood or know what that's like, this is definitely a red flag. Like, this would lose you the audition quite quickly. The casting director tells Tori that they're not gonna hire her because she looks too much like the main character, but they do want her to be a stunt actress. What? Okay, it seems random, but really her friends were telling her earlier that she needs to beef up her resume to do auditions like this. And that's gotta be a thing you're told as a Gen Zer. They always like teach you how to like build up your resume, give the perfect interview. It's crazy how much career development people try to force upon you. And yeah, Tori falls into temptation for that and actually lies on her resume, leading her to accept a part that she doesn't really know she's ready for. She can't really be a stunt double if she doesn't have any training. But yeah, everybody in class kind of makes fun of her for this. Even Psychowitz is like, you're gonna have to do it, not worrying about her safety literally at all because they're more concerned that she'll leave a bad bad vibe for the entertainment industry, which, okay, sure. So we get to set, and Tori thinks this is just gonna be a simple fall off the chair, like nothing's gonna really matter, but they expect her to fall off the railing too. Oh my gosh.
Really simple stunt.
Right, simple stunt.
Got your chair right here.
My chair right there.
What you gonna sit on?
I sit on it.
When the director calls action, you just fall off the chair.
I fall off the chair.
And through that railing, drop 40 feet and hit the ground down there.
They have this like little blow up mattress she could land on, but they've admitted that multiple times this has not worked out. There's even a blood stain on the floor. Oh my lord. So yeah, Tori's getting really nervous, but luckily production like is interrupted when the director has to go to the hospital. So Tori has like a little bit of extra time to talk to her friends in the intermittent scenes, only to tell her that she's really stressed out and like is trying to find a way around this. She ends up getting her friends to come with her on set, and we don't really know what's about to happen, which bothers me. Like, I don't know why they didn't set it up in the dialogue. We just know that Tori's about to actually do her performance. All of her friends were somehow able to get onto set, even though it's like a really important movie. Don't know how they were able to do that. And they're even texting her throughout it, which you could not have your phones on a set, guys. This is crazy. Later, we find out that Beck is actually surprising Tori by dressing up like her and trying to insert himself in the scene. So she doesn't have to do the stunt double, he could do it for her. Oh my lord, why is this even happening?
Beck! Beck! Yes?
I wish we at least set this up a little bit. Beck barely had lines before his scene coming in, so I don't even know if this is a good deed or just like something he's supposed to do. Definitely admirable that he's like putting on the dress. I don't know how he got it, except for the fact that Kat made it. Oh yeah, that's actually kind of cool. So yeah, Beck ends up doing the fall for her, and yeah, it kind of resolves itself. You think the episode's gonna end here, but then we get like Tori feeling kind of guilty about it, and Psychowitz is upside down during the scene, which they do not explain. Nothing actually comes with it. I don't understand why they do such random things sometimes. It feels like an entitlement thing from the writers to just prove they could do whatever they want on set, and it's like, come on, like at least just put a basic narrative, or at least make it make sense, which they don't, they never do. Tori ends up doing the stunt by herself, but we don't ever talk about the fact that this is like a redeeming character trope. She's not doing it for the good of her character development, she's just doing it to do it, and she doesn't even choose to do it. Jade pushes her by the end. Okay, so yeah, this episode was just very off kilter for me. I don't understand the way they section up the plot points, because it didn't have to do with Beck at all, and then it had to do with him in like the last 5 minutes. And if you're telling me that's not to make the audience think it's gonna be a romantic plot line, you have got to be kidding me, because they knew what they were doing. They just want people to watch the episodes, and I am just so confused. But hey, the second season loves to do that to me, doesn't it, guys? Okay, the next episode we have is Ice Cream for Kesha, the third episode of season 2. And yeah, I remember this one super well because of the whole Kesha experience. Like, I can't believe they put the entire framework for the story around this one celebrity. Like, imagine that person didn't show up when the actual thing was being recorded. That's all I'm worried about. But the point is, it got filmed great. Yeah, I got to see it on TV multiple times, and this is my first impression of Victorious, honestly. So it's fun, like, looking back on this one. It starts with Robbie and Kat arguing about what Kat dreamed about, and honestly, this is such a funny argument to me because clearly nothing actually happened, and she's already mad at him. I love that for her. Andre's doing this contest where he's trying to find the bottom of ice cream lids with letters on them to spell out the word Kesha and win a free concert for her. Okay, cool. Later, Trina brings out a contract that Tori wrote when she was like 6 or in 6th grade, and she said if she wasn't married by the time she was 16, she would do anything for Trina for a month. Like, she'd be her personal servant, which is kind of crazy. So this plotline is pretty quickly abandoned when Andre comes over to keep looking for these letters, and suddenly the entire group gets roped in on figuring out where this golden ticket could be, which, by the way, reminds me a lot of Willy Wonka. This whole concept is so funny. It also reminds me of McMillions, if you ever saw that documentary. It's like McDonald's did this sweepstake with Monopoly, where you get fries, you buy a bunch of different stuff, and you can get different properties on a Monopoly board, and if you win, you get a bunch of prizes. But this was a scam, apparently, so yeah, if you guys partook in the 2000s, we're all a part of the scam.
All I need is an ESH and I get a private concert from Kesha.
You just need Ash.
I need Ash real bad.
So the entire cast looks for the ice cream, getting tired of eating all of it to eventually pouring it out. It gets a little bit gross. I don't really understand why this is fun to watch.
Why are there so many K's and A's?
I don't know, but we'd be doing great if we were trying to win a private concert from Aka 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 Ak.
and then they find out that somebody in Northridge ended up getting all the letters, so it's probably too late anyway. Aw. They were gonna get kids to eat the ice cream for them, but Robbie got beat up in the attempt to ask their parents, which is so funny that they even attempted to do this. I just wish we saw it. Why did that have to happen off screen? I hate when fun things happen off screen. Makes me feel left out in a way. So later, Tori has to go back to helping Trina because apparently the ice cream situation didn't help solve her problem. And they learned that the guy from Northridge actually faked it, so the contest is still on. This is exactly like what happens in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, actually.
Listen, don't let anyone have it. Take it straight home. You understand?
Thank you.
I can still win the contest.
Run for it, Tori. Run straight home and don't stop till you get there.
Right.
So they then come up with a genius idea of going for the flavors that might not be bought super often, which is actually really smart of them. I like that. Kat immediately knows where this flavor is. It's like Funky Nut Blast, of course it is. So they decide to go to this gas station in Calabasas in California, which is kind of crazy that they have all this commitment for a project like this. But it's not that surprising because obviously they want to win, you know? But Handy Quick, like that's the name of the store? I don't even think that's fair. This just looks like a location I've seen in Sam and Cat somehow. I don't know how, it just does. So this kid ends up finding the S, only for all the friends to be pretty upset and disappointed. They have to negotiate with him now to try to get this S, and you know, lucky for him, they have all the other letters, so I don't see why this wouldn't be in both of their best interests. So yeah, they end up getting Kesha over Tori's personal house to enjoy the Kesha concert. And yeah, we got Rex sitting on the couch the whole time. Don't even know why they had to put him in this scene, but okay. Tori promised the little kid a kiss, which is so crazy. She ends up just kicking him out of her house, which is fair. This kid's a little creep for wanting that in the first place. And yeah, they end up having a conversation with Kesha, talking about Tori's cheekbones, which of course has to be the only topic of conversation when they meet Tori for the first time, okay? And this whole episode just ends on a pretty bittersweet note. I mean, I feel bad for the little kid. In the end, Trina's like, I'll kiss you, and he's like, no thank you, and that's where the episode ends. So it's actually really funny. This was one of the more fun episodes to watch. I feel like just because it had a cohesive narrative that wasn't just built on random things happening. And yeah, we had 3 minutes of time wasted with Kesha singing, just a cheat that they did all throughout Nickelodeon at this point. Like, you guys still have to fill 23 minutes worth of content. I don't know why they stop at 20 all the time. All around, really fun episode. Definitely got a good kick out of it. And yeah, this is a good one. So the next episode we have is Tori Gets Stuck, and at least we're leaning into more performing arts-based things for this school, although they do talk about getting a cast list and moving on to the show within a week of getting it, so I don't know how much research the writers actually did into this, which would have been helpful. Like, I grew up in performing arts. This would have been a really cool deep dive on like how hard it is to get into a musical versus like putting one on. They just love getting the surface area of all these concepts without diving into any of them. Psychowitz is just nuts in this class. Like, it feels like Spencer if he didn't have coherent things to say. Like, I don't know what this guy's deal is. We learned that the cast list is out, and Jade is super angry right off the bat. Why? Because she's the understudy for the lead. And guess who's the lead? Tori. Yeah, despite the fact she didn't do anything to really earn it, or us see her earning it, like, it's just there, it's happening. So now I've gotten used to it. I'm starting to feel like the Tori and Jade episodes are similar in nature. Like, we got a prom episode where the two are actually arguing as well, and this feels similar, as in like they're fighting over this part. Like, there's just so many times where Tori and Jade are doing the same things in relation to each other, and I don't know how they keep up with it. Tori gets the call for a music video. They want her to be a part of it, and of course she should say yes because it's such a great opportunity, but it happens to fall under the same day as the show going up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so she thinks this is a plan from Jade, or Jade's just trying to plant this and actually get her to not do this part, which I would agree with. I definitely think that's about to happen, but Tori, do not give up something you can get paid for this school play. Like, that would be so cool to do. This turns out to be a trick by Sinjin, which I was not expecting. So we get insight onto the play with Andre playing one of the main characters. We see how it's about to go down.
Captain, the storm is getting worse.
You think I can't see that? Now get down below before anything else happens. Oh, okay. Oh.
It's more of like a female empowerment story with Tori coming in to sing about manning this ship, which kind of feels like an Amelia Earhart reference to like her flying the plane, but hey, it seems like a feel-good show. I don't know why they bother to hire a understudy when it's going to happen in a week from now. We learned that Robbie is actually admitted into the hospital because of a car getting stuck in his butt, which they really heavily imply without saying it. I don't know if it's impressive or concerning.
Tear in his small intestine?
Yeah?
Okay. Well, if that Pontiac moves, it could rip that kid's guts apart.
But the rest of this episode takes place in the hospital, which I was not expecting. Yeah, so all the friends go to visit Robbie, and Jade is leaning on Tori to try to make sure she does not play this part. But it doesn't become about her and Tori anymore when Tori starts giving blood to Robbie for his medical condition. She's the only one who matches his blood type, and so they have to keep taking blood to help him. At first, she donates it, and it doesn't work out, so they have to ask her to do it again, which is concerning because it seems like this hospital doesn't know what they're doing. Then the second time, Robbie just is grateful and ends up dropping it himself, so Tori needs a third pint of blood, literally nearly causing her to pass out. I can't believe how much medical issues are going into this one. Of course, it stops her from being able to play this part and making it more likely that Jade might take it.
Man will always la 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 la. Woman always da 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 dee. And so I'm not a captain, I'm a pretty little salmon. Oh.
But Psychowitz keeps dismissing this and is like, no, like Tori can do it. When, isn't that the point of an understudy? Like exactly this, like a medical scenario where somebody needs help, that's when she would step in. I don't know why they're trying to not let Jade do it because of this reason. Meanwhile, Trina's in the infirmary as well, trying to get acting lessons from a real tuberculosis patient. And this is where it seems like arts go way too far. Like, I can't believe you're doing this. So after all this drama, Tori goes to finally perform her part, but she is too woozy from 3 pints of blood being lost. Oh my god, they should sue the school because like making this girl perform after this is insane, especially with the lights on. Like, tell me you haven't seen a performance with the lights on the audience. Like that's so weird. But hey, it's a TV show, what can you do? In the end, they don't let Jade go on. They actually have Psychowitz take up for Tori, and yeah, I guess Tori's happy and healthy, but Jade didn't get to perform. So therefore, everything didn't really matter. Jade didn't have to step in, so what's the point? Trina didn't get tuberculosis, and yeah, Jade is just unhappy. So I guess nobody won in this episode, and it just abruptly ends. There's no actual empowerment behind what the concept is. Tori doesn't want to help her friends, she just does it begrudgingly, and even the hospital doesn't know what they're doing when they're doing it. Like, I don't know who is benefiting in this episode at all. The references to the theatrical show, it actually shows us a plot line that would matter to these kids, but the way they execute it is just downright ridiculous. I was surprised to see all the transitions are relevant to medical things, which is so funny. I mean, it is take place in a hospital, but it doesn't really feel like the episode's about it being in the hospital. That's why I'm like hard to wrap my head around this being an A plot. It really feels like a background plot to the actual show going up. And yeah, the show going up doesn't seem to actually concern people because they're not willing to let Jade do it. So nobody is accomplishing anything. So Tori gets stuck is okay. Yeah, this is just such an odd episode. I can't believe it fit into something they wanted to actually do. The blood going everywhere really bothered me because it's a kid's show and it's like one thing to see the blood happen, but like, did it need to be there necessarily? They could have implied it a little bit more, whatever. Yeah, poor Robbie though. He's got this whole toy stuck up him and like, can you imagine? Love how they took the wholesomeness and generosity of one donating blood and took all the heart out of it just to make this plot line like funny. And it doesn't even feel like a lot of jokes are being told. It just seems like a lot of things are happening that are in nobody's control, and people like for its music, for its catchy nature, and it just seems like this episode is not doing it for me. I don't know if this was one of your guys' favorites, but I'm so curious what you would like about this episode. Please let me know.
There's an audience out there. The show must go on.
Yes. Yes, it must. And must it shall.
You can't captain the boat. You're just a woman.
Next, we have Prom Wrecker. The Victorious Prom episode is surprisingly close to Sunny with a Chance's prom episode, which I find really funny. It's called Prom Wrecker, Season 2, Episode 5. And it all starts with this episode of Tori and Kat watching Andre kiss. Okay, it's just like a really weird stalkery moment that we don't talk about, and it's like it's normal for teens. Like, this does not happen. So Rex, which is the dummy of Robbie, talks about going to the Northridge prom.
Those Northridge girls, I feel like a prom bomb went off in my head.
And Tori's like, hey, we need a prom. So she goes to Sikowitz, who doesn't realize he's the head of student activities. What? And she's like, we need to have a prom here. Yay! Okay, and this is where it feels a lot like the Sunny with a Chance episode, because it's Tori trying to spearhead this prom and everybody else is like unsure of how to do it. I don't know why it's like the main character always has to be the leader in all these things. So yeah, Tori gets the whole crew together and gives everybody an assignment, and it looks like she's done like years worth of work to prepare for this prom. Like, I can't believe how invested she is in this. And since it's still kind of like earlier in the series, like it feels kind of new to watch this show still. I don't know why, that's just the vibe I'm getting. Conflict ensues when Jade realizes that Courtyard for Hollywood Arts that they usually hang out at is going to be used for prom instead of her performance, which she was going to do Saturday night.
I was supposed to do my performance this Saturday night. Now Psycho says I can't because you booked the Asphalt Cafe for your stupid prom.
Prom.
So she's really angry at this entire endeavor and vows to take down the prom, which is kind of scary. Jade is a very scary character, and her and Tori never seem to reach a normal agreement, so it just seems like they're just at each other's throats this whole series. I don't know why. It just feels like there's enemies in the same friend group, and it's like, what? Tori renames it Prom, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, that's the most innovative thing they could do, is name the thing slightly different than it was before.
We call it a prom, right?
Innovative. I like it.
It's really stupid.
Even then, it doesn't make it a normal prom, so I don't know why she would go out of her way to get this normal tradition thing, but then change it altogether. I don't know. It's a cool idea, though. I feel like all the kids coming together for a prom is awesome. Andre keeps making out with this girl, though, throughout this entire episode, and he seems to never get a break, this poor guy. Robbie, in the meantime, keeps consistently asking Kat to go to prom with him, which is actually really sweet, and she keeps dodging it with, like, other objects or, like, weird excuses. I kind of feel bad for this guy because I don't know, I feel like she's just avoiding him, and it sucks when you're like trying to go out to somebody with your feelings and they just like straightforward don't even let that conversation happen. It's so awkward. Robbie finds out pretty quickly that Kat doesn't actually have a date, so when she rejects him, he's really upset and offended, which I don't know why. Dude, she just rejected you. You have to let it go. In the meantime, Trina actually blackmails Sinjin into helping her rig the entire prom queen or princess or whatever they do with this, which is kind of crazy. I like that we have a subplot that's about crowning somebody the prom king or queen. I like that being a part of the tradition, honestly. I didn't realize Beck wasn't in this episode at all until Jade mentions it, that he's in Canada, and I don't know why. That's like his personality trait, that he's from Canada. And yeah, so we're kind of scared of her because she doesn't have anybody holding her back. She shows up to the prom and is acting really suspicious, and I'm getting terrified. Meanwhile, Robbie's trying to call out Kat on her lie, and it's just not working out. Jade ends up hacking the entire monitor to put demons on the projection, and it's kind of scary to think about. So Jade just disappears and starts just acting weird. Meanwhile, Tori has to spend her whole prom tracking down Jade, and it's like kind of weird. Jade just ends up hiring this shirtless guy in a diaper with a jukebox, and I don't know how this is gonna ruin the prom, but hey, that's just her whole deal. Meanwhile, Kat is still lying to Robbie, and he's just like offended, but it turns out this guy actually does show up and she wasn't lying the whole time, which kind of is extra sad for Robbie. I like wish she was lying. And then the diaper guy ends up winning the entire prom, which is insane when you think about it. Yeah, then we start singing Best Friend's Brother, which is the most inappropriate prom song you can imagine. Then it starts to rain, and still nothing really changes in the plot. I guess somehow Jade predicted rain. And the moral of the story is, I guess, like, no matter how many things get thrown your way, you're still gonna have a good prom. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the episode doesn't necessarily resolve. We just kind of don't see Jade again, and Sikowitz is dancing with the kids. Okay, yeah, whatever. Weird prom episode, but at least it's interesting. Oh my gosh, and Andre's never resolved his plot. Like, he just makes out with this girl, finds out that she actually doesn't like him for himself. He's just kissing her, and he just becomes okay with it. And that's kind of how that ends. Kind of weird. Around, it's a lot of fun being scared of Jade the whole time, but it doesn't feel like the episode pans out or even fully concludes. So that's always gonna bother me. Therefore, I'm not gonna be happy about it. Let's move on to the follow-up special, something that is a really movie-worthy event. Yeah, it's Locked Up Parts 1 and 2. And this is particularly disappointing, because it would be one thing if like you took the Drake and Josh Goes Hollywood, you know, like you have the two boys leaving their normal set to get involved in this high stakes adventure, and that's kind of what you think is going to happen. You're like, okay, locked up, I'm looking at the previews, it seems like Tori and friends are gonna get stuck in another country, forced to sing, and they're trapped. Yeah, you are right for the most part, but it's not quite leaning to Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, it's leaning to another special that I think we all don't remember too fondly. I Go to Japan from iCarly.
Konnichiwa. O genki desu ka? Hai, arigatou. Hajimemashite.
どこで日本語を習いましたか?
I ate soap.
Again, I cover this in the iCarly video. It was a 3-part special, so they actually felt like it needed to go on that long. I don't. But Victorious is taking that trope of the main cast leaving into a third world country where they don't really know the culture or what's going on.
And look.
Ooh, look at that. Oh, White Sand Beach.
Computer.
And it's all about them surviving those circumstances. Not terrible on paper, but the way they execute it, having it be more about the joke of it all as opposed to them actually being genuinely confused in a new place.
So, the swimming pool here is currently filled with ammunition.
It seems like we're turning to mock the entire culture of the place.
Get your hands off my boyfriend's head!
Luckily for them, they made up a place this time. Instead of going to Japan, they go to a place called Yerba.
Yerba.
Yerba? Yerba?
It's a very exotic island.
Like Hawaii?
Sure, yeah, like that.
Okay, that's actually definitely better than the first special. I feel like we're off to a pretty good start right from the beginning of this. I want to say it starts out as pointless as the Freak Out special, but no, it starts out with Tori and friends actually having a conversation with the food truck guy in their normal hangout. It's not Trina literally getting told she has to go to surgery and everybody dealing with that. Like, it's not just a simple episodic plot. This guy actually feeds information that they need a group of singers in this country called Yerba to actually get a free resort stay, and everything will be accommodated in this place. It feels like it's kind of mocking the idea of people being from different countries with this guy and how Tori interacts with him, but hey, I'm just lucky it's not Trina's mouth surgery. I'm gonna emphasize that one more time. This part kind of bothers me though. Like, they do have the theme song, but they replace it with clips from the special, which you think would be a positive, but honestly, it feels like it cheapens the whole thing because they put the trailer for the rest of the plot in the promo. And it's like, I already know what's gonna happen before I see any of this go down. Like, I want the fact that these cast members go to jail be a big reveal and something actually interesting happening. But no, it's not that. So Tori and her friends embark on this trip to Yerba, with Psychowitz, of course, taking them because we need an irresponsible adult to somehow put the kids in danger. I feel bad for this man. And yeah, he escorts them to the country, and he's heard of this country before, so maybe that's gonna be a good sign. Oh wait, it's not.
I spent 2 weeks in Yerba when I was 23.
Cool. So what's it like?
I remember nothing of that trip.
So they get to the country, and immediately it feels like I Go to Japan, where none of them are used to the customs. Everybody is pretty much making jokes about how the hotel is set up, and the bellhop, who kind of resembles Lubert a little bit from iCarly, is trying to get them into this whole space, but they're not having it. Everybody there is like sketchy and apparently worth investigating, with the army coming running in, attacking our main characters right off the bat. So that's kind of cool because we're actually establishing that this place is dangerous. They need to have guards here on duty at all times. I'm definitely feeling worried for these kids, but the kids are just joke after joke, just having fun with this place. It's not like character-based jokes, it's more situational based, and it's kind of dismissing the regular plot, which is actually kind of interesting. Andre ends up getting bitten by some weird fly and has a tumor for the rest of the plot. I can't believe that's even a thing.
Being bitten by a vampire moth is very good luck.
It says here that a bite from a vampire moth could kill you.
Yes, but if you live, you are very lucky.
Basically, like, they're all worried about Andre's well-being, and it seems like they're all joking about it more than they are actually worried about helping him. Then they end up having to share a same bed based on your gender, and Robbie is thrown in with the girls, which is not as funny as it used to be. Like, that's kind of offensive now to just assume his gender. I don't think we're there anymore. Point is, these guys are trapped in this new place, don't know how to go about it, and hopefully everything is going to be solved once they get their whole singing situation through, and then they could just head on home. But oh well, Andre is actually suffering this whole episode, and you feel horrible for him. The rest of the cast you don't feel that bad for, because it's like they're just genuinely acting ignorant this whole time, and yeah, none of the other actors are helping super well. I do like a lot of road trip related movies, so taking the characters out of their normal habitat already gets you a lot of points for me, so seeing all this go down is actually kind of entertaining. I definitely think it's such a step up from Freak the Freak Out, until we actually get to the main event, which is the character's performance. So Psychowitz is getting ready as everybody else gets their sparkly tops ready to perform. Everybody except for Andre, who is being taken care of by this 15-year-old boy doctor. What? Okay, this is crazy. I don't know any country where it's like you need to be 15 to be qualified to take care of somebody like this. The stakes get raised when the dictator of Yerba will be at their event. Yeah, so they have this full-on performance, and Andre is at front and center despite his disease. I don't know why they would think he could still perform after what the doctor just said, but then again, he's 15.
How is he, Doc?
And they play one of my favorite songs in the whole series, actually. It's All I Want Is Everything, and it's just such a hype song. Definitely, they use these specials as an excuse to play a full 3-minute song, which for me, honestly, I don't like when they try to fit it into a 20-minute episode, so this is pretty acceptable, but it's given me vibes of the last season, where they just gave up on this. They didn't even care that they were taking up 3 minutes of singing. Example, Five Fingers to the Face, one of my least favorite experiences in a teen sitcom ever. I hated that musical number. But the whole special ends on a really crazy cliffhanger where Tori is told she's gonna be going to jail for kicking her shoe up and hitting the dictator. That's a great way to end a first special. If you didn't make the whole theme song about them in these jail clothes. Yeah, they literally gave away this whole mid-episode plot line just to show us that they're gonna end up in jail. You convinced me to watch the next episode, guys. You don't have to keep convincing me. So yeah, then we jump into the next episode, get a quick little recap, and the boy doctor is back checking in on the Prime Minister, which is super funny.
Doctor, how is his eye?
Yeah.
We see Tori in her jail garbs, literally ready to be taken away. She's given a lawyer, but he's not super helpful. But at least this time we're in for the ride, and we know that it's not going to be a low-quality special like Freak the Freak Out. It's still got some promise. We're thrown into the jail with all these teenagers, and nobody here is safe. Everybody's worried about their concern. It starts out with just Tori being arrested and everybody talking to her from behind the bars, which is kind of funny. Seeing Jade actually react to prisoners and not be afraid is definitely on par for her. Like, seeing their characters stretched in these settings definitely makes it a lot more fun.
One time, when my brother was in prison, he told the people in charge that he was a vegetarian, so they gave him special meals.
Psychowitz and the friends actually try to get Tori out of there, and they have like a little speech on like why they care about her, but nobody can really get something positive out.
I mean, is she a perfect sister? No. Is she the prettiest or most talented girl in the world? Not by a long shot.
I don't know why this is like a moment of character realization. They introduce that the Chancellor has this squid that is his near and beloved animal. I can't believe I've never seen this in a sitcom. I think that's really funny though, like such a specific animal. It kind of reminds me of the episode of Drake and Josh where they get a chimp. Like this feels like very like random animal input into a TV show type vibes. And yeah, so they end up killing this poor little squid, and the dictator is furious, putting them all in jail. And it's kind of a weird commentary on like going to a country where they just make up rules just to make up rules. And I'm not super cultured enough to even speak on this, unlike the Victorious cast who believes they can like pretty much add their own commentary. This is really out of left field for me. Like I don't think they actually did research into any country's customs to even parody. Like that's the thing, it's like it gets a little offensive when it's close enough like another culture to seem like it's parodying one of their laws, but they didn't. It's kind of reminding me of like Russia, Soviet, like That's what I feel like they're actually going for. And this is when everything kind of gets resolved. Tori is like, okay, we're just gonna allow us to do another performance, and if it's good enough, like, let us out of jail, okay? Yeah, that's fine. Freak the Freak Out ended the same way with a big musical number, and I like that this is almost the second number in it, so it kind of takes all the hype off the first one. And yeah, they do a full-on number and manage to get such roarous applause that they convince the Chancellor that they're worth going free. That's not even how it ends. Okay, no, so the performance goes well, but then the prisoners try to escape, and Tori and her friends do so as well. So I guess they just ditch all their fellow prisoners and head out from Yerba.
Get a gun!
With one last sign of saying no escape, and we never revisit this again, which, by the way, I think a country would like actually find a way to track down this person. I don't think these kids would be scot-free after that experience, but hey, I'm just grateful we're not getting another Freak the Freak Out. So the second season did come in clutch for us with this special, and I'm happy because honestly it could have been so much worse. iCarly did such good specials in its first couple seasons that it makes it hard to like view this on its own and not be like disgusted.
디스커스팅한 냄새가 나요.
But hey, we're gonna let them slide on this one. Dude, Helen Back Again is one of the most confusing episodes of teen sitcoms I've ever seen. It almost like brings up the lore just to dismiss it really quickly. Yeah, so if you guys don't remember, Helen is from Drake and Josh. She plays the notorious theater owner. And episode 2 is called Helen Back Again, and they're not afraid to jump and confuse us even further than before. So it starts with all the kids at their favorite lunch spot and the principal announcing something. I don't know what the point of that is. Yeah, this guy is from the pilot. He brought Tori and Trina in, and he's a really good guy, but we never really see him, so I guess where am I getting that from? He's apparently leaving on vacation with this woman, and this is feeling a little bit slightly inappropriate for a kid show. Next thing you know, a car shows up to the lot and knocks over this bike that Robbie just paid so much money for, and of course this has to happen to him. This is one of the first times we actually see him without Rex. Like, it's very rare that this happens, at least before the later season, but at least here it's interesting. Helen arrives. I hate that everybody's super excited because it's like they didn't establish this character in this world. How is it fair that we're expected to jump on the bandwagon of knowing who this is when some people from Drake and Josh have outgrown this already? We then cut to the classroom where Psychowitz has Kat dressed up like a baby. I don't know what exercise this could possibly be. Thank God Helen interrupts this, because honestly this is going too far. It does kind of remind me of like the iCarly world, in which they just do things that are ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous, thinking that kids are just plain random, when really, like, there is a little bit of logic to what people do. I don't know why these writers thought we were just nothing.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
So yeah, Helen announces that everybody's going to have to re-audition to be in this school. Again, a little confused at why she's taking this so seriously. She proves that she could sing, which doesn't feel quite necessary. At least it buys her credibility with the kids. And yeah, everybody's all worried. Andre, Tori, and they're like, there's no way Trina's gonna get in. She's not talented anyway.
Our new principal is really tough.
And I'm really talented.
So she has her audition for Helen, and yeah, she is awkward and horrible. I don't know what this routine even is. The fact they had to have a giant fan is just news to me.
Oh, 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 you haven't seen the best of me. Oh, 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 what she gets, not what you see.
Beck uses Shakespeare, which is definitely on par for him, and Kat actually doesn't do a good job. I'm surprised why she gets in. They really sacrifice comedy for realism with this one, because I wouldn't expect her to get in after this. And it feels like the talents are a little bit broad, like Robbie comes in with Rex, and it's like, I don't know if that alone could be enough to get into a performing arts school where you have to sing and dance too. But Helen lets him in, and Jade shows her a video, which again, this is such a broad way to get in. Tori ends up doing her performance, and yeah, it seems like really good and well done. Same with Andre, they do it together. I didn't expect that to be a possibility, but yeah, they really impress Helen. And this is another thing, like, why couldn't the episode be about Helen a little bit more? Like, it's about Tori's journey, but Helen is just like this power figure that has the right to say yes or no, but we don't actually get a character per se. Like, this could have been played by anybody, and that's the part that bothers me the most. So later the mom gets the call, turns out Trina got in and Tori didn't. Oh my god. So Tori is depressed, but I'm just confused at how in the world this is possible. As she's getting ready to go, her friends are really sad to see her, and I don't know why Kat and Jade got through this process and yet she didn't. This is so confusing to me. Later we run into Helen only to find out that Helen actually confused Tori and Trina. Oof. It's a little bit of logic, but still, it's not enough to get me to understand what's going on. So when Tori confides within Trina, she's just kind of a jerk about the whole thing, like talking down to her as if like it makes sense that she's not getting into school, and they don't even tell her that she didn't get in. They just feel bad for her, so they actually stage a robbery. Yeah, they have Robbie dress up as a robber, attack Helen, only for Trina to jump in and save the day. And the episode surprisingly ends literally as this is going on, like the main conflict. Helen didn't even need the help. She just starts beating up Robbie with no actual remorse. It's so crazy how quickly this happens. And yeah, they give Trina the credit even though she really didn't deserve it, and Helen lets her back in the school. Okay, all around really confusing episode. I don't know what they're trying to imply here. If it was a little bit more about Helen and she was a character from here on out, that would be one thing. Like, she said she's the principal, let her keep coming back, but she does not make another appearance in this show again, as you could recall. The Drake and Josh references are very few and far between, so it didn't really feel necessary.
I thought Crazy Steve was crazy. All right, better call the police to come get... All right then.
The only thing that is redeeming this episode for me is the sequence of everybody auditioning for Hollywood Arts, but even then it does feel a little weird that everybody's allowed to kind of do whatever they want for the audition. Like, there's no specific protocol, and it happens within like minutes. I don't know. The school's curriculum is just extremely questionable to me. Like, I don't know what goes on in Psychowitz's classroom half the time. And the more projects I see the kids present in their class, the less I understand it. They rarely go to other classes. Like, I just want an explanation, guys, that's all. But yeah, that's Helen back again. The next episode is probably the best episode in the whole series, honestly. It's called Who Did It to Trina? And it starts off really funny. It's like Tori's directing a play that she wrote, very confused, and she had to give Trina the lead role. I can't believe that she's like letting this cross into her daily life. And she's just so complicated. I can't believe she even wanted the role if she's not even gonna be like a serious actor. She's just inconveniencing everybody. She doesn't even try to be good at what she does. So that's why it's like hard to respect her. It'd be one thing if she was like genuinely trying, but she's not. She leaves 5 minutes into rehearsal to get her feet cleaned, which of course would happen in a show by Dan Schneider. You know, like, why are we surprised at this point? So yeah, Tori gives the backstory about her Kathy doll, which is so funny to think that that's like the reason she'd be doing all of this.
But don't you think you're a little old to be playing with dolls?
Right?
I know.
She has a good workaround for Trina where she's like making her speak in only alien lines, so nothing she says is in English, as Trina would say American, which is definitely red flag alert for her. And yeah, so she avoided that altogether. So she's with her teacher. Turns out this is all a part of a school project, and this is probably why I like this season above the other ones, because they actually acknowledge it's an art school. And yeah, this is definitely the peak of the series. Robbie and Trina's character form a relationship, even though she's an alien, which should be super obvious. She's speaking alien language the entire episode. I don't know why they would have this miscommunication. Jade says she doesn't like the show, which is so funny, and Robbie's actually a pretty good actor. I don't know why we don't give him credit if he's on stage doing this good stuff. Trina inevitably gets really hurt due to a flying incident, which I don't know if you're doing a student project, you'd be able to insert a harness because of all the legal implications, and actually this very reason. Like, she's getting super harmed because of the flying harness, and how could it have gone well in rehearsal?
How does she get her feet so white?
The wall ends up falling on her, and the next thing you know, commercial break over, everybody is stuck in the therapist's office because it could be any one of these main group kids, which would leave a red flag on all of them together. Everybody's like pretty defensive, and the teacher does not do a good job at calming everybody down. I didn't realize how prominent this guy was until this episode, and I love his office. Like, this is one of the best characters in Victorious. He definitely thinks everybody has an anger issue, specifically Tori because it's her sister, but he's convinced this was sabotage. It could not have been an accident.
You all are suspects. Oh, not again.
So everybody recalls individual moments that happened in the first 3 minutes of the episode that made us believe that this could have been done by a different person. Like Jade, of course, blames Tori. And of course, this isn't even how Tori is in real life. I love recounting old episodes. It reminds me of the Foam Finger episode of Drake and Josh. And of course, they're just gonna copy and paste it to do it again because it worked. Like, I guess I would do that too, question mark? Yeah, this episode has a lot of character behind it, though, just in the way it's structured. Andre's stressed throughout the whole episode because he has a crush on this girl named Kiko that really wants to go out with him, and yeah, he just can't leave the room because he's being suspected for hurting Trina, of course. Then we get Tori's perspective, which just has Jade being a monster, despite the fact I barely remember her from the first 2 minutes of this episode. Like, why is she a part of this?
Move! It's not my fault you spilled your coffee, klutz.
And yeah, Tori views herself as a very sweet person, which you gotta do if it's your own flashback. And yeah, people just act really wacky. This is Victoria's dipping a toe in ridiculousness, like when it comes to their writing, because this is absurd, but at least it has a little bit of structure. Later, they just go completely off the wall. But yeah, then we get to see Kat and her point of view, which is so funny because obviously Robbie tells it and it's like him looking like a really attractive guy, which is just not real. And I like this fantasy the best. Look at this. And then she recalls an episode from literally Drake and Josh, which I did not see coming at all. I can't believe they just reused footage and made it HD. Like, that wasn't even filmed in HD. Come on. Jade almost like admits multiple times that this could have been her and it was hilarious. So I don't know why nobody's like accusing Jade further. They just try to convince the counselor that it was bad wiring, and that's the only thing that it could have done. Then we see Robbie and Rex going to bed later, only to find out that they were the ones who planned it, and Rex was the one who did it. Oh my gosh, what in the world?
Nobody ever suspects the puppet.
This episode doesn't even end on a positive note. It just ends with me being more concerned for Robbie. Then they play one of the musical numbers from the Locked Out special, which doesn't seem necessary at all. This does not have to do with the rest of the episode. I don't know why we have to go here. Yeah, all around fun episode. I love the making up of different scenarios. The fact that there's like 7 main characters instead of Drake and Josh's 2 perspectives, it just makes it a lot more fun and fast paced. Feels like something that could be released today and still be entertaining. I don't know. Do you guys remember this episode? Because this is a good one. Tori tortures teacher. You'll notice a lot of these episodes get lower on my list specifically because of the character actions. Like, I just feel like this is what drives a television show. And having the characters act so uncharacteristically out of place just to get some good jokes in is really annoying to me.
Just wandering about.
Aw, how cute.
Isn't she?
So, why don't you take her home?
Oh, I'm not into rabbits.
And that's exactly what Tori Torture's teacher is. It's like an entire episode that's essentially a sketch. Everybody's gathering for class. Jade and Beck are in another argument. Love seeing how abusive that relationship is. And Psychowitz announces that it's his 10-year anniversary. And the only thing he got from the school was a coffee maker. So Tori is pretty insistent that maybe they could give him something better, which is actually a really genuine start. I feel like last episode, just right out the gate, was really bad. But this one at least takes its time. We have Trina treating the senior class like a piece of meat, trying to hit on all of them, which she clearly doesn't even know a little bit of their personality. She just picks them out from afar.
There's Sean.
Who's Sean?
Oh, he's 160 pounds of senior hotness. And I am gonna make him love me. I know, right? Yeah. Okay. See you there.
Dude, Trina's so dirty as this character. Like, she just gets worse and worse as the show goes on, being essentially the cast's meme to make fun of. It kind of reminds me of that era where we were taking pictures of people you would define as ugly and essentially calling them ugly. Like, it's not a nice mentality. I don't think anybody in the world is actually ugly. Like, the way we joke about it is never in good fun. The cast pitches in to see a show together. And as they're sitting in the seats, they get the entire theater to laugh along with what they're saying.
Me? Come on. Nuge. Nuge. Huh?
Ah.
See?
Yeah.
Feels good, right? All my students, try it.
Nuge.
Nuge. And now everybody.
Which is like, this is the unrealistic meta jokes that I don't like. Like, stop taking me out of the plot. I can believe these are characters. So Trina pretends to be this Italian restaurant, and she impersonates being Italian, which is not really that offensive, but it's kind of funny, actually.
Italiones! Can I help you? Oh, yes, we are still delivering free pizzas. Oh, what's your address?
Your accent is so vague.
She's trying to impress him by making him a pizza, and she ropes Kat into it for, like, no reason here. Ew, remember these frozen pizzas? I have a lot of friends that do actually like frozen pizzas, but for me, it's just like, no, I can't do that. The play is actually really painful to watch because it's beat by beat about Psychowitz's life, essentially, as a failing artist, somebody who's suffering to be a teacher. It's about a midlife crisis, which why in the world would you bring like a 40-year-old man to something like that? And if I have to get annoyed at these phones one more time, a transition where Tori tells the world, oh, Psychowitz was late for class, that dumb play upset him. There's no world where we're giving updates about our teachers' mental states in the Twitter world. Yep, then the Psychowitz we know and loved is just depressed this entire episode. It kind of gives me the vibe of Drake and Josh's episode when they had Helen have her surgery and Drake and Josh had to take care of her. Like, that was actually in good spirits, and like, we got to learn more about Helen as the episode progressed. But here with Psychowitz, it's just him being like unexplainably sad and depressed about his life, making himself the butt of every joke, essentially. He even uses Jade and Tori to reenact a really depressing scene and makes them do it over and over again, only to walk out the window.
Scene. You both have the same line. Life is pain. So you just keep saying that to each other over and over. Do it, action.
This man is borderline, I don't know, we should call a hotline on him. Tori tries to open up to the counselor, which is usually the same guy, thank God. And he's no help. He's essentially like, why did you do that? That's horrible. And I hate when a show plays into this teacher trope for laughs. Like, it's funny when they're like silly and stupid, but when they're just non-empathetic and not caring about the kid's well-being, that part kind of disturbs me. It's like, come on, you could at least be nice. Turns out he's not even depressed because of the play, but his wife left him, or his girlfriend, I forget what it was.
I'm not depressed because I miss Catherine.
Then why have you been all...
I miss her pet. Bunny.
And you could tell that there's like a big class divide here. Like, Psychowitz doesn't even wear shoes half the time, and these guys are the richest of kids. Like, have you seen Tori's house? We can't not acknowledge the privilege here. And I'm starting to get tired of Trina trying to hit on this guy by posing as a pizza lady. Like, it's borderline stalkerish. The guy's not even nice or worth it. And it feels like a skit without jokes. It's just her being crazy.
What are you doing here?
Bringing a special boy a special pizza from Italione.
If you know me, I hate like food jokes. Like, I hate when they put the pizza at the front door because it's like, guys, she did not deserve that. Jade's whole plot line is her and Beck fighting over text, so we don't really even get to see it happen. We just see Kat asking her about it.
There.
What'd you text him?
Oh, and it turns out they're trying to set up Psychowitz with a woman, which they didn't really clarify. They just went straight to auditions. It's kind of a funny joke, but it's also just unrealistic. So yeah, they get a bunch of female actors to come in and read with Psychowitz, and they're essentially trying to pair him up with a date. And if you're an actress in LA, you should know that this is definitely a frustrating thing. Like, somebody could actually do this. Then there's a big revelation moment, but it's not really a revelation. Psychowitz just pulls Tori aside and says that he doesn't miss his ex, he misses his ex's pet. And he was just telling her that. I don't know what is going on with this show. Like, they have auditions and they try to do this whole setting Psychowitz up with somebody, but it doesn't pan out. There's no bigger goal they're setting themselves up for. It's just unexplained trials of trying to cheer up Psychowitz, and it doesn't even end in a good heartwarming moment where anybody gets accountability for any of the nice things that were done. It's just everybody being used as props to essentially tell a joke about a teacher going through a depressive crisis. Yeah, it was funny though. I do have to acknowledge in a lot of these episodes, there are funny jokes. Like, in retrospect, maybe they're not, like, the best, but they definitely were good. One of the weakest episodes, not only in season 2, but in the series, because there's just so many open opportunities to make the characters grow or develop or even keep track of their relationships, but it seems like they throw that all out the window whenever they get a chance to. Also, it's hard to find new things that Quentin Reviews didn't already discover. I love that guy's channel, and I love doing these kinds of retrospectives, but like, it is important that I kind of have my own take on these things. And for me as a storyteller, a writer, I feel like the character development, just how the plot progresses, is the biggest insult when it comes to Victorious. Like, Zoe 101 did Victorious better. iCarly, it started out pretty good, and it ended up getting really bad. Coming from the perspective that you need somebody to be in a relationship, to be happy, like, that's also kind of annoying to be told from the writer's perspective, because you know you're a show about teens' lives. Like, you're trying to paint them to be obsessed with relationships and having that be their whole purpose. I mean, maybe you guys don't feel that same way, but growing up, I definitely felt a lot of pressure to be in relationships, and that was like the ultimate goal, and I feel like they're definitely leaning into that in this episode. The only solve in this episode is they get Psychowitz a bunny. The end. I don't know what to tell you.
No. Bunny's a cat.
A cat?
Yes. The woman I was dating named her cat Bunny after her Aunt Bunny, who's dead.
Jade gets crushed, automatically loses my respect. I mean, they say fingering in the first, like, 30 seconds. You're telling me this is a kid's show? Like, is anybody monitoring what's going on this show? Come on, guys. But yeah, Jade gets crushed is definitely funny. It's an Andre and Tori episode, which there's a season 4 episode called Bad Roommates, also about Tori and Andre, and honestly, it was probably one of my favorite in the series. If this was more just Tori and Andre, I would vouch for this show so hard. So, Andre has an advanced songwriting class, and he's extra stressed. We get the teacher named Lane, which I didn't even realize he had a name, honestly, and he tells Tori that she needs to take tech theater, but she convinces him to let her just take the test, which I don't know how that gets you out of a whole semester. That sounds like an educational system problem, and then gives him hand lotion that they all start licking their hands with. I mean, come on, guys, what is this? So now Tori can't sing the song for Andre, so he needs to find somebody else, and guess who that is? It's Jade. And oh my god, this is such a funny episode. At first, Andre's just like scared of Jade, and Beck tries to like assure her, but obviously she's not helping. She runs in with a pair of scissors. Meanwhile, Tori is going to be taught by Robbie all about the tech theater. Of course, he has to know all about it. He brings his cardboard cutouts of Kat, yeah, and he owns them. Don't know where he got them. It's kind of crazy that she even has pictures of her posing, and yeah.
Where'd you get those standees of Kat?
I just, brought him from home.
I don't think they actually did research on what tech theater actually is, because in what scenario would you have to run around and do the lights and the music and everything in 28 seconds? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Kat comes in and is fairly confused at all the cardboard cutouts. Robbie says they're not his, but that does not make it look any better. So yeah, Jade and Andre finally alone. This must have been like the first time they had one-on-one time, because when they start singing, Andre starts developing a crush on her. Aw, and she's a really good singer. I love Liz Gillies. Did you know she was on Broadway in the musical 16? That's really cool. So Andre runs to Tori's house, freaking out like he's in love with Jade. And it's so funny as a teenager when you just say you're in love with somebody, but like you just like them. Like, how in the world could you fall in love with somebody so easily?
Never try to move in on a friend's girl. I don't play that way.
Good. So just forget about this.
I can't.
And of course they talk about the fact this is inappropriate because of Beck. And yeah, Tori just reminds Andre that it's inappropriate, and he just decides to repress it for now. Next thing you know, he comes to school and is already 5 coffees in. Oh my gosh. Kat tries out Moon Shoes, which I don't really know the parody name for them that they put in here. I just know them as Moon Shoes. So next thing you know, Tori finds out that not only did she pass the tech theater exam, but Tori got 100%, making her the highest ranked student, giving Robbie an existential crisis. Oh my gosh. They throw the mom in this episode, and it's just like, how much did you have to pay her for these 2 lines she has? It's kind of crazy. And she always is like up to no good. I don't know why the mom character is so screwed. Then, of course, Tori dresses up as Jade to try to make Andre forget about his crush. And I can't believe she's doing this again. I mean, I'm reviewing the series backwards, so I'm not surprised, but I didn't know she dressed up like Jade and messed with Andre before. That's exactly what they did in the second episode when she dresses as Andre's grandma. What is it with these two and trying to come up with therapeutic solutions? Honestly, kind of cool when you think about it. Tori does not break character even when her dad comes in, and honestly, if I were the dad, I'd be super concerned. Then Andre just buys consent and leans in to try to kiss Tori. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he can't differentiate this person from the actor. Like, it's kind of concerning. Andre's worried about being a bad person, which honestly, it should be more focused on his moral obligations, not just that. And Tori suggests that they just perform so far separately that if he's singing to her, he doesn't even have to worry about pulling her out individually. So yeah, Tori jumps up to sing with him, and honestly, I would be kind of offended if I were Jade. I'm like, was I not good enough to sing with you out loud? Andre's clearly singing to Jade, nobody else picks up on it, there's a giant crowd at this parking lot. Honestly, I like it when they have shows at night in this food court. It definitely gives me some fun vibes. Then they talk about having spaghetti tacos from iCarly. Okay, good reference there. And now Andre just seems like he's over Jade. And then he finds another girl and then just walks off with her, making the whole situation okay. So he didn't make any moral mistakes. It's definitely a positive experience. I really do love these Andre and Tori episodes. I just feel like every time they do the inappropriate adult humor, it's relentless, guys. I feel punched in the face every time they say a joke that I just do not think is appropriate for kids. It's just crazy. All around, though, definitely one of the highlights of season 2. I feel like it's better than Helen back again, and Tori gets stuck. So I think this is a personal favorite of mine, which is crazy considering all the bashing I just did on it. But hey, yeah, Victorious is getting good. We only have 2 more episodes: Terror on Cupcake Street and Blooptorious. But I do have to mention, A Christmas Tori does come across as the second season because they filmed it while there was a second season or released it while it was a second season. I don't know. It was really confusing. So the production code and everything is a little bit messed up. So I'm gonna include it in the 3rd season retrospective and just kind of end after Blooptorious here, because I feel like the Christmas episode is where things got switched up, even the theme song, so I kind of assume that's season 3. That's, of course, when we get to Terror on Cupcake Street, and honestly, it just is borderline offensive to me, like making fun of neighborhoods that are in poverty. If you've seen this episode before, you kind of know what I'm talking about. We start by mocking the performing arts aspect of the show, with Psychowitz putting a bucket on Tori and Andre's head to perform a scene, and yeah, it's definitely difficult. I don't know what the exercise is with this, but yeah, sure. Psychowitz dismisses every character that isn't the main cast, and it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. The meta jokes are just really bothering me. In this moment, I realize I like Psychowitz when he's not necessarily the performing arts teacher, but the creepy guy, which is really sad to think about. I just feel like as a theater teacher, he's not that fun and a little cringe sometimes, but then when he's acting weird, it feels somehow normal. I don't know. If anybody shares this opinion with me, please comment below. I don't know. So they're talking about a parade to raise awareness for parades, okay? Kind of reminds me of when Sunny with a Chance did a walkathon against reading, which was actually super funny. If you guys haven't seen my Sunny with a Chance video, please check that out. Those episodes just go crazy. So Psychowitz asks the kids to put together a float that could be inside the parade, which, putting together this whole giant cupcake? Yeah, okay. So Kat's idea is the one they all go with, and it's the giant cupcake. I love it. Trina inserts herself into the narrative, despite the fact that nobody really wants her, and honestly, it's just always bullying with them. It just feels like it's bullying. They reject her at first, but you know that she's inevitably gonna be coming back. So everybody puts on their pajamas. I don't even know the aesthetic that Kat is going for in this episode. Like, it's pajamas, but also what, cupcake? Okay, yeah.
Yay! Cupcake power!
Cat, you're killing me!
So they're gonna arrive in this float, somehow taking this giant cupcake all the way to the parade without having it lugged. It's apparently just going to go by itself, which already is a red flag to me. Of course, they get stuck in a bad neighborhood.
What street are we on?
Yeah, what street?
Let's just say it ain't Sesame Street.
I love Sesame Street.
Sunny.
No! We learned that Sikowitz doesn't have a license that's valid. Okay. And yeah, so Beck ends up driving this thing, which I don't even like their pajamas. It would be cute if they like had some sort of theme, but it just seems like everybody's is just random and they don't even sync up with one another. Kind of a random vendetta I have against this, but yeah, it could have been cooler. So yeah, they get lost in this neighborhood only to be worried about the dangers, and they're pretty much talking like they're in a war zone throughout the whole episode. Like honestly, you could just actually put them in a war zone and I think that would be more appropriate.
Maybe they can help us. Hey, fellas!
Yeah.
As opposed to just like making fun of just bad neighborhoods or low income neighborhoods, saying that they're all dangerous. Sikowitz goes out to look for help, but just ends up running away. Oh my God, what a horrible teacher. So now they're stuck in the Cupcake, another stuck episode. If Drake and Josh didn't do it, iCarly, it's just everything with the Dan Snyder shows. They have no bars, and then it's starting to be a little realistic. The cops don't believe Sikowitz is actually in danger, so they arrest him, which is so funny. Honestly, he should be arrested for being a bad teacher. Andre and Beck are the next to go out, coming back beaten up, which I'd love to see who actually beat them up because I don't even believe this. Next thing you know, a bunch of people start attacking the Cupcake and then confetti flies out of it to scare them away. Aww. So they just accept that they're not going to get to the parade on time and the plot is just taking a complete negative turn. And honestly, it's kind of funny. I wish there was like more reason for them to be worried. Like it just feels like that this isn't 100% fair. Tori ends up going out to the streets. Yeah, Tori in the streets. This would be a good movie, honestly. I would like to see that. And she goes to talk to some random people that are having a garbage fire, okay? She says he doesn't look like he would have a hamster, which is kind of rude. Yeah, like this stereotyping is horrible. But these guys end up coming through for them, proving that they could still be good people, although the entire cast backs away from them like they're terrified, and it's like, they're not that different from you and I, guys. Like, I don't understand why they have to treat them like such a different divided class. But yeah, that's just an issue with our country, I guess. In the end, the street thugs come along into the Cupcake and yeah, they don't go anywhere but home, just singing The Wheels on the Bus. The end. Oh, well, I guess we get Sikowitz running around, but yeah, that's essentially how the season ends. Can you imagine? Then our final episode for season 2 of Victorious is Blooptorious. And if you saw the video I made breaking down blooper or clip show related episodes, you should know I kind of have a angst about it. I feel like there's a certain way to incorporate a narrative story and clips from the show while also like maintaining this is like a part of the show. And this kind of breaks all those rules. Like the best time they did it was Drake and Josh's Dr. Phyllis episode. Like that was a really good one. Sunny with a Chance did it and that was also kind of okay. But this is like the beginning of the worst era of these clip shows I've ever seen because of the fact that it's almost like too meta playful. For one, Christopher Kane is referenced as himself, which is actually really funny.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Christopher Kane. I am an actor. Most of you more likely know me as Rex, the sassy sidekick to Robbie from the television program Victorious.
This episode's written by like 5 people. Like the only episode to be written more than 2 people. Like it's crazy how many people are credited with this. Is it just all of them in this episode? I don't get it. Now I found this on the Victorious official wiki site that apparently Andre and Jade did an interview about this video, and you'll find these videos here.
We're a pretty crazy cast, so who knows what they're gonna pull up. It's gonna be pretty nuts.
My biggest grievance with this episode is the order that they put the castmates in, like having Andre go first. Like this would usually be for the person with the least amount of bloopers, but for some reason, I feel like he's one of the main characters. Like why would he go so quickly and be over? Okay. And the interactions are just so awkward. I feel like they're trying to do it on purpose and play on it, but like it almost doesn't hold up over time. Now I'm looking back and it feels a little bit more, I don't know, complicated. Just the amount of times Christopher Kane hits on one of the members or bullies one of the members, like honestly take a shot every time because it's too much. This is where it's like also getting too much into the adult jokes, and you kind of get it when you see that 5-6 adults wrote this. Like there's only 6 kids, so they They must have had a writer per character, and I can't believe it. Like, it's not even that funny with the jokes in between, so that would have made up for it, but like, I want to see the bloopers. They're interrupting the bloopers a little too much. But yeah, from Begging on Your Knees, the first episode of this season, all the way to Terror on Cupcake Street, the second season of Victorious definitely doesn't even know what it's trying to be. I feel like the first season, it was like definitely trying to be a performing arts school, but this time they like kind of dropped it and just put all the gang in like complicated scenarios, including like the locked up episode. Attempting to connect the lore to Drake and Josh with using the name Helen just never came back up, which always is gonna bother me. The episode where we're seeing different things that happen to Trina is very entertaining, but definitely in negative spirits, and it didn't get great until I saw Jade gets crushed. This is where I wish the show stayed, because then we just have a bunch of various episodes. With Beck barely getting a storyline, it feels like some of the ensemble cast are just used for jokes. Same with Kat, you know, like I feel like she either gets a B-plot joke or is barely in the episode at all, and looking back, like that's really frustrating to me. This is when you could see that they're starting to put in music videos, but not necessarily making the whole episode about that. I feel like after this next season, they definitely sing every episode. It's one thing or another, but here it's not in every single one. But I don't know, it does come pretty close, but we still get some joke episodes in here. And just the threatening of them leaving the school, not being able to come back to it, happens in this season a lot more, I feel like. I was more worried about how they were gonna stay, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was the second season of Victorious. Do you guys want me to cover the other seasons? Like, I love covering this show just because I never really got a chance to revisit it, but I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Please comment below, and thank you guys so much for watching.
No!
Let's hold. Rock and roll, I got slime.